The Boston Uprising just completed their revenge mission with a clean sweep of the Houston Outlaws, 4-0. And you know what? I'm just gonna start calling Dream Casper Dream Clapper, because the way he be clapping these people so easy is something I can only imagine doing in my dreams, or perhaps nightmares if you're on the other team. I don't know how that works. But anyways, guys, it's time for our final match of the week, a rematch of our Stage 1 title match. We have the NYXL going up against the London Spitfire. Now, the London Spitfire are one of the 2 teams that have actually taken NYX out during the regular season. And they've actually beat them twice in a row if you count the Stage 1 title match. So guys, this is a big one, and you know NYXL, they're looking to get their revenge of their own. So, guys, get hyped. It's the Stage 1 champion versus the Stage 2 champion, the top 2 teams in the league, Blizzard Arena. Make some noise. It is our final match of the week.
한데 근데 또 뭔가 서로 그냥 되게 집중력 싸움이 되는 것 같아요. 그날 타이틀 매치를 하는 팀끼리.
Oh, that is dirty right there.
근데 오늘은 절대 저희는 저희를 최고라고 생각하지 않고
네, 전 최고입니다.
배우는 마음가짐으로 하고 있습니다. 그래야 발전할 수 있다 생각합니다.
Coming back to take a reverse sweep.
That is it. London Spitfire will be your Overwatch League Stage 1 champion.
Set her up and he'll knock him down. It's a game of dominoes. Libero with 2! And that is how you bounce back from 2 lost maps. And the NYXL stand finally at the top. Can you believe it? Your Stage 2 champions.
일단은 당연한 거겠지만 이제 스테이지 전4도 이제 계속 1등을 유지하는 게 목표고요. 그리고 마지막에 시즌5하는 게 가장 중요하다. 그래서
Ladies and gentlemen,
the #1 ranked team, the NYXL
Versus the London Spitfire.
This is a ferocious squad.
It's a battle of behemoths.
I am so pumped right now. Make some noise, Blizzard Arena. We got #1 versus #2. There's not much more you can say about it. It's your Stage 1 champions in the London Spitfire taking on the squad that is on top of our leaderboard, the New York XL. Now, we expected this matchup to be the grand finals of Stage 2. Philadelphia, they knocked out London too early. We get it here to kick off Stage 3 as we close out the week. I gotta just ask you guys, how do you feel coming into this match?
this is amazing. This is the best way to finish the week. For me, it's the main rivalry of the Overwatch League. London against New York. These 2 juggernauts that have clashed so often, and every single time it has gone to a Game 5. But even though New York has sat at the top of the leaderboard, it's been London that took it twice in a row after the first time they fell to New York. And you gotta be thinking that NYXL are looking to draw it level.
And I mean, the way we talk about it is when London come in prepared, they're one of the best, if not the best team in the league. So they just have to come out prepared this time versus New York, and we're gonna see a banger of a series.
London lost to Houston earlier in the week. Some people on Twitter saying maybe it's because they were preparing so much for this New York XL squad. Let's talk about this New York team. What are we expecting to see from them today?
Well, we're expecting a lot of Widowmaker. Actually, they said that they did prepare a lot for the London Spitfire, and they carried that style over to the Philadelphia Fusion. And that was this slow-paced style with Libero on the Widowmaker. We even saw Orisa and Roadhog. That was what they were planning for versus the London Spitfire. So the question is, will we see more of this kind of sniper action today? Libero has been on fire.
Can you do it against Birdring, Josh?
I think potentially he can, but it's not so much the individual play that I'm going to be looking at for New York. At the highest level, Overwatch is all about preparation, like you were saying, and coaching. And NYXL's coaches have demonstrated a mastery of understanding other teams, being able to prepare for them, even at short notice, like in the Stage 2 finals against Philadelphia, being able to beat them in that really close final. They're the most consistent team in the league. I think they can do it again here.
So many big names on New York. You think about Big Boss Pine, who rides the Pine most of the time. You got SBB, you got Libero, you got Jonak to worry about. What about the tools on London's side? Who do the New York Excelsior need to fear in this matchup?
Well, I think Birdring is the standout performer for me, actually, because he was the one who was missing versus Philadelphia, and he was the Stage 1 playoffs MVP because of his performance versus New York specifically. So I think if Birdring turns up today, that is going to matter a ton, and he needs to if they want to win this series.
Another person who didn't perform as well in the Stage 2 finals was Profit. He kind of went missing in that series, whereas normally Gesture, Profit, they're the duo that makes everything happen. Against NYXL, they're the power duo that I think is going to be able to form the fundamental layer that will help them get through NYXL, and then it'll be Birdring that pops them through the top if they're going to win.
Absolutely. So I think that overall, we just need to see London Spitfire as a team turn up this time, because they didn't in the Stage 2 playoffs. As a team, they need to turn up together. All the individual skill needs to be there, because during the Stage 1 finals, it was, and they really popped off. Stage 2, not so much.
It's the best rivalry in the league. Stage 1 champions, Stage 2 champions, 3 matches, 15 games. It always goes the distance. So that brings me to our predictions here. And I want to start with you, Josh. Where are we going today? Are you siding with number 1 or number 2 on the leaderboard?
Number 1 and the recency bias of winning the Stage 2 finals. I got to go with the New York Excel. They look absolutely fantastic right now. Undisputed best team in the league for me, and London a little shaky. Probably still going to be a 5-mapper, but New York Excel all the way.
Johnny, where you going?
I mean, me and you, Josh, we're 1-1 so far today, but this series is so convincing for me. It is New York for me as well. We're going to end on a tie today, Josh, because I believe that this team, they are so consistent and so good. London Spitfire, they've been looking inconsistent, and so I don't have the same faith in them today.
I just saw Gesture off camera. He is not happy with these predictions. London looking to pull off the upset. It doesn't get much closer. Are you guys ready to get this party started? Make some noise as we welcome our teams to the stage. We kick it off with the squad from New York. Give it up for the XL. "21 matches in the regular season, a 19-2 overall record." You look at the matchup here, though, this is the squad that gives them the most trouble.
Only 2 teams have beaten them throughout the whole of the Overwatch League. Philadelphia with an upset in Stage 1, and then London twice. NYXL are so consistent. They perform so well against everybody, but London, as you were saying, they are the team that gives them the most trouble. I think they can tie it up today.
Arguably, New York, to me, are getting better and better as well. Sabiol being a man on camera, he's the one to look out for. Best tracer in the league, time and time again. We have Jonas, of course, in today. Instead of Mono, actually, a bit surprising. Maybe some strategy up their sleeve.
We still had it in Stage 1. It didn't work out so much.
It didn't work out, that's right. So maybe we'll see Mono swapped in if it goes to 2-0 for London.
And there's the superstar of the NYXL, the guy who just outshines every other Zenyatta in the league, Jonag, and his support buddy, Ark. This is the power duo of NYXL. We talked about Gesture and Profit, but the big duo in NYXL is their support line. So good.
It's kind of amazing when you have a team with 3 dynamic power duos. A star-studded lineup in the New York XL. That's why they're at the top of the leaderboard. But it's time to introduce their opponent on the right side of the stage. Let's hear it for the London Spitfire. Squash and the boys getting fired up. The Spitfire looking for some revenge. They didn't get the championship match at the end of Stage 2. Now get their opportunity to prove they're the best team in the league.
And it looks like Birdring is eyeing for an event. He is ready for this series, and I sincerely hope that he turns up and puts on a superstar performance, because his Widowmaker, when he shows up, is among the best in the league, and he needs to shut down Libero today. Profit as well. We know him as a superstar tracer player. A lot of expectations on London today. They need to live up to them.
I was talking to Monty backstage, and I asked him, where does Dreamcasper rank in the best DPS? He's like, well, beyond guys like Birdring and Profit, both of them on this Spitfire squad. So much versatility in this lineup.
Yes, and we always talk about London as one of the best rosters, potentially the best roster on paper. Their individual talent individually is excellent, but coming together as a team has been a little bit of an issue for them at times, a couple of inconsistencies, but the focus, the preparation is the key. They've had time to look at NYXL. If they come in here with a good game plan, there is every chance they can win.
And remember, London already has a loss already here in Stage 3. A big victory over New York would help them lock up a #1 seed potentially at the end of their 10 matches. Are you ready to get this match started? Make some noise, Los Angeles. It's New York, it's London, and here to bring you the action, we got Semler with Hex.
Yes, thank you, Puckett. I know you can't help but rub your hands together, bang them together, do everything for this match, because this is going to be the big one. the match of stage 3 before we even get to the playoffs.
Yeah, real quick, my dad's in the audience. Hi, Dad. But the reason why he's here is he asked, what is the best game to come see? And I'm like, oh, you want a game? I got a game for you. We got New York and London, the premier matchup of the Overwatch. He doesn't care that I'm here.
Yeah,
he wants to see good Overwatch.
I love your dad, exactly. Like, you know, son, it's great. I see you all the time. Give me a good game to watch when I'm here in LA.
I was like, it just so happens we got New York and London. You look at the records, they played each other. They play each other so close consistently. And you can look at previous records of previous opponents and throw it all out the window. It doesn't matter. It's always a brawl between these teams. I don't have any predictions. I do, but I'm going to keep them quiet. I think it's just going to 5. That's my prediction.
I'm going London. This
right.
desk, I got to poo-poo the desk right now.
I mean,
it's like, oh, all this focus on New York. You are underestimating the likes of Gesture, Prophet, Birdering. I mean, come on.
I mean, look, I'd agree with you, but then we'd both be wrong. So I think I've been on the New York bandwagon forever. There's something about Sabiobi for me. We could talk about the support lines, but you know, you got to get those kills, even if your supports live the entire time. Although Jonak knows a little something about getting a kill here and there.
He knows about connecting orbs with faces. That's for damn sure. He's one of the finest in the league. No doubt about it. The Zen master, but I like it. They pointed it out on the desk there. Arc definitely working together as that duo. Yes, you have the support duo, sure, but Arc is always there to really just keep on top of Jonak, damage boosting, healing, making sure that that guy can crank out the deeps. But it is going to be Anubis to kick things off here. We will have our assault map.
Yeah, London struggled on this map pretty recently, too. New York has a much better win rate. London rocking about 50-50 here on Temple of Anubis. From both sides, we've seen a lot of different compositions. We've seen a lot of Sombra come in. When London was really struggling, they toyed with the idea of throwing a Reaper in, even on first point, which is not necessarily Reaper's forte. So we can see a lot of different things. I think a lot of it will come down to Widowmaker play, as it always does on this map, especially on first. And it's really interesting to see what New York wants to run on their offense. They've tried similar things to London as well. Junkrats come out for both of these teams, so I don't think either of them have a great handle on Anubis, to be dead honest. New York has just been able to power through some weaker opponents on it.
I mean, when you take this stat in the bottom right corner, just take it with a grain of salt, because he is playing against Sabiobi, the best Tracer in the league, the best anti-Tracer in the league. It's a tough bill if you're playing Tracer against New York. Prophet, definitely one who can go toe-to-toe. We've got the Shetland Pony set up here for London. Spitfire, murdering on high, hiding behind that Orisa shield. The rest of his team holding in front of him, as you guys can see. And yes, this is the strong advantage of that position, is that he can just grapple hook from one side to the other, depending on where New York decide to dive.
Yeah, so New York are going to run an absolute dive here. They're running the Tracer and Genji, Diva and Winston, going to try to find targets, and it's going to be up to them to try to deal with Burn Ring. You see both DPS back up immediately, and up front, Janus already falls. That dive is now crushed, the power of it cut in half.
The focus fire coming through from London Spitfire. Very few gaps here for New York Excel to take advantage of, with that Orisa shield to hide behind for London. It's out Birdering. We'll grapple back up to the high ground, reset. Now it's going to come down to New York to try and find a way in. Sabiobi kind of just crouching, waiting for the go signal.
The way in is almost always through the left here, and it's a matter of if they want to go all the way around or take the shortcut over top. Some pressure comes down onto Birdring from that Genji over top. Still going to stay in position. They do trade off one-to-one. Profit, a huge surge of damage out, and now Libero's free to dash.
Yeah, sick working together, the duo there for New York. They get in, they get the job done. Libero's hacking them to bits as well in the meantime, and progress is being made on this first point. Fury decapitated, no time wasted. And well, New York, it took them a little bit. They stumbled at first, but with 2.5 minutes left on this clock, they will secure point A. There's no way for London to get back into this.
And they lost both of their DPS very early, and it's just a matter of where the kill is going to come from there. You can lose a tank and a support early, a tank and a DPS early. Losing both of them right off the bat means there's just no kill potential, and now it's easy cleanup for Libero in the dash through. Libero, easily in the MVP talks for the entire Overwatch League. This team is filled with stars, but he's the engine that makes them go, because he can play everything. He allows such versatility on this roster.
Yeah, that Genji, man. You can see exactly how powerful it is. Already in with the Riptire, though. Prophet from spawn, chucking it in, finds Libero. You cursed him, Hex.
Yeah.
Although Arc is going to be able to get the res off immediately. He's got the Valve Wings going.
Oh, huge now. They have a big advantage right now if they can just deal with this Mercy in the sky. A self-destruct over top's going to make reinforcements that much more difficult. Does find Prophet on his way back in.
So quick here, the all-out aggression. Nuss somehow finds a resurrect in the middle of the chaos, brings Birdring back into it. Birdring still going to be working. Arc dangerously low. Meko there to ferry him out, but Libero is here. Dragon Blade already going to work. Notion out of the fight.
They do get one kill onto Sabiobi. It might be enough here. That's how Anubis goes. You have to get a couple kills, but Heavy coming in still on the cleanup. Libero's Genji is going off.
Yeah, Libero, man, he's come to do work at this point. They're all together now. 2 ticks picked up here for New York. Doshin with the Mei, just trying to delay things further, gets the wall up. That does buy time for Gesture to get in here with the bubble. But they are streaming in one after another, never really able to survive long enough to get a group together here, London, and they are right on the edge now, New York, of a blindingly fast take. First offense here on Anubis. Nearly 5 minutes in the bank.
Very nice from them. That stall was by design to have people wait until the ice block goes up, then the Mei to get people in, and then you hope to get 1 kill, maybe 2, and bring it back while you're stalling it out. They did get the 1 kill, but it was answered in kind, cleaned up immediately. And they talked on the desk that New York had adapted their style, maybe a little slower pace with a Widowmaker, and that's how they ended up beating Philly. But there, it's just all out aggression. They have all these multiple styles in their pocket. They just played pure dive right there. And the Libero Genji has been a revelation.
He definitely wasted no time, but that's going to be the key. It was mentioned on the desk again. Shout out to Josh, Sideshow, that Prophet Gesture combination, working together as a duo, the tank with the Tracer. Well, in this case, you definitely have Libero just following along with his tanks. Everywhere you go, they're working together as this killer unit. That's exactly what you need to do. You are gonna get results if you can get the coordination down pat, which is exactly what New York are doing.
I mean, it's just so impressive, just the minimal amount of deaths that you had. Ark, who played Mercy the entire time, didn't die the entire time. Meko didn't die the entire time. That's your Diva and your Mercy. You got to take one of those two out. I mean, if you just play a game on ladder and the Mercy doesn't die the whole time, you're going to lose that game, right? And it's so difficult to get on these New York tanks. Both these teams do a wonderful job of keeping their supports alive with each other, but I think the pinnacle of that is Ark and Jonak. They're always together, they wear the same glasses, and they kill people who try to kill them.
Yeah, Jonak in particular.
Yeah.
Might as well be the DPS.
Well, I mean, but Ark has to get a lot of that credit, though, because he knows what to do the healing, and then he gives the damage boost to Jonak, too. So it's those orbs are destructive because they hit you in the head, but you're also getting the damage boost on him. I mean, Jonak is completely capable of defending himself. You put Jonak and Ark together, and you better send 2 or 3 people after him. You're not going to do it with a single Tracer.
You're not going to find that kill on the Mercy. All right, countdown is over. We're going to get into it now as we switch sides. London Spitfire on the offense, New York Excel on the defense. And we'll see, are London capable of as quick an attack here as their counterparts on the other side ready and waiting for them? We already have Prophet running the Sombra, so a little bit of a change of strategy here, some variety. Working his way in, and you already have Birdring, of course, on that Tracer as well to back him up.
Yeah, this is a style that London has tried to run on the offense, and now if it doesn't work early on, they've been prone to making a lot of switches as they try to get in. So if Prophet gets shut down early, expect some sort of switch to try it out. Already a deep dive. Sabiobi in trouble. Sabiobi out of the fight.
And then you've got Jonak. It's like, oh, Sabiobi is dead. Hold my beer. It's fine. Z-Mech and a kill on Doshin. No worries for him. Getting that Discord on Gesture as well is not going to make his life very pleasant.
Jeez.
And yeah, it's fine because you're thinking Sabiobi's missing a lot of shots. He's not getting the kills. But that's the true power of New York. Everybody is capable of bringing the hurt.
And one of the strategies in every sort of competition or sport is to take down the guy who's going to beat you. You can't take out all 6 of them, right? You can't just focus all your efforts on one person. You try to take down Sabiobi, Libero's chunking in damage, then the support duo, as we aforementioned, just crush it. Jonak is a monster. There's no other way to say it. We're going to be saying it a lot today.
We are definitely. Nearly goes ahead and picks up Birdring. Sure, why not? And already from on high in this position, he covers so much of the ground, even watching for the flanks as well. He's on top of everything right now, Jonak. And they're still trying to figure their way out. Yeah, Birdring gone. Libero's there to pick that one up. They are trying to get a presence on the point right now, but Gesture, he was just alone out in the middle of nowhere. Nobody from his team could support him, could back him up. And if you keep getting picked off one after another, London, you are going to keep stumbling.
Yeah, this is actually turning into a pretty bad snowball situation because not only are London losing these fights, they're not even competitive in these fights. So they're so far behind as far as ultimate abilities go. You look at New York and everyone is nearly up there. The only one lagging behind is Janice. That's not his fault. He's on Orisa. So everyone else on London, I guess you could wait for ultimates to come online or you can try to get in here with an EMP and win a fight that way. They do have it ready finally. We'll just keep an eye on Prophet.
That's a tough break for Janice. There's no murder chasm, murder hole here to just hold people into.
Ooh, Prophet might have given himself away. He touched the point very briefly as an invisible Sombra, so they should know something is a little bit askew.
You can see Janice kind of taking a look back real quick.
Well, now they can see him because they popped Infrasight, so they absolutely know that this Sombra is in the mix.
Riptire going through. Oh, perfect target. He'll take that any day of the week. And they camp it, though. Nobody is there. Well, they don't even have a res. They don't even have a Mercy. It's perfectly fine. They're going to go for the push here. London Spitfire trying to move together with both tanks onto that high ground, trying to force them down, but Libero doesn't care. He's just going to chuck in death and destruction from above.
And now they're banking up a bunch of ultimates as well. Soundbarrier comes down the moment that Nuss gets it. They want to take this point right here, right now, with only a minute remaining. It's their best push. Zumyata comes in from Jonak. Beautiful body block, keeps him out of the mix.
Oh, and perfect, just keeps Giannis alive. Behind the barrier, no problem. We already have Notions Trance out as well, but Jonak is still content to kind of play the angles right now, make sure that he can try and keep his teammates alive, but this might be a bit too much for them to handle, as London Spitfire are still making progress on this point. The Roomba going down, however, might turn things New York's way. That is so much damage that they were able to crank, but it's just not enough.
Not going to be enough. The cleanup there, a flurry of blue comes in. Powder blue reigns for the London Spitfires. They will finally take first point, but already with less time in their bank, and they haven't even tried to assault point 2.
They don't really have that snowball element going for themselves right now, London, in terms of ults to carry over here to really sway things their way on point B. Libero more than happy to take the damage. He's charging up Ark's ultimate, so he's going to be pleased with that. And while Prophet in the back looking for targets, nearly gets clipped. So close, but Ark is dead. Gesture is there to work on it with the help of Birdring.
Yeah, Gesture is an absolute dime of a main tank there. Gets in there, the tire goes down. That could have been the saving grace, and now you see the kills continue to pile up for London. One comes back. Libero is able to take down Doshin, as you mentioned earlier. No resurrection available. It might be the kill they need.
They can spot Ark out. They know exactly where Ark is playing from as well in the back corner. Nobody really there to back him up either. Jonak only just now coming back into the fight. Sabiolvi as well. Janus leaps back to the back line here to try and stay alive, get some support from his healers. But they are going to pick up one tick here, London Spitfire, and this is a position for them. So long as they don't give anybody up, they can definitely end this here. Birdring gets splattered, and Jonak finds a pick on Prophet. And as I say it, New York will hold.
Some really interesting play there out of Libero, actually. He took a really wide angle as the Junkrat as that fight was going on, and that's because he trusts his team to stay on the point. He doesn't have to panic rush in there. So he goes low ground, ends up popping himself up, takes down the D-Mech Diva, and those kills came one after another, slow and steady. And because of that, even though New York was behind early in the Ultimate economy, now they're back into it. But Doshin takes a note out of Jonak's book and punishes one of the best tracers in the Overwatch League.
Oh, the angle isn't right. Prophet tries to make the big play, and unfortunately for him, Jonak gets around the corner in time to stay alive. That means there's a trance on the point here to keep New York in this fight as well. Eventually will get stomped on by Gesture. And London Spitfire doing a good job here, sticking together. 5 of them still alive in this fight. Prophet only just now running back, but Birdring is gone.
You wouldn't like Janus when he's angry. He turns Birdring into modern art on the wall there on the splatter. The good thing going for London there is that they did at least force New York to burn out some ultimates. You saw Transcendence and Valkyrie come up over the top at roughly the same time. However, they had to use a little bit of their own, so no distinct advantage on either side. They are making some transitions now. Nuss is going to go to the Mercy to try to get Resurrection. They haven't had that available all game. And Prophet is over to Genji, and I think Genji's Dragon Blade is one of the best ultimates to close out Temple of Anubis.
That's what you're hoping for. You get into that back corner, you find the Mercy camping with Jonak. You'd be more than happy to deliver a blade to the face. Some snipe shots going in from Jonak, connecting with Gesture. The Primal Rage is going to be used, and Prophet has found Libero. So there's the opening, the start here for London Spitfires. They try to press their advantage. Jonak pinned in the back corner, no way out. Gesture stops him, and Prophet, he's found Ark as well. Golden opportunity now for London Spitfire to get the job done and make some serious progress on this point.
Well, they have gotten Nuss on the other side of things, and there's a big tire. We'll take down Birdring. No chance for his second life as his Resurrection hero was down as well. And as good as this started out for the London Spitfire, this blade better be money.
Yep, and sure enough, there's the one. The others are on the other side of the map. However, Prophet not able to convert it into more than a single kill. And now they can move in with impunity. New York Excel, they're willing to take this fight. They've got Ark flying high, chain healing everybody.
Yeah, Ark's gonna get in there just to try to close this out. London has reinforcements coming in and have designs on taking this point back as the Transcendence does come off as well. London has committed to this and they just lose Birdring right there. There's a minute left. It is time to decide if this is your fight or you're backing out.
Yeah, well,
it's time to back out.
Yeah, he's deciding to close it, to end it, to make sure that nobody else dies here for New York. And that's going to leave you with 60 seconds on the clock here for London Spitfire. What exactly do they have to work with? Nuss isn't too far away from Val. He's got the Prophet. The Pulse.
Yeah, they will have Valkyrie here. A nice stagger kill onto Fury. It's going to take him a while to respawn now, deliberately not allowing that hero to die so that it takes them longer to reset. We are at the final fight. And here's the thing, even if London takes this, they're still in a terrible spot as far as the time bank goes.
Yeah, super slow start here for London. It's definitely not how they wanted it to go. Got to shake off those jitters and get their head in the game if they're going to take down the Stage 2 champs. Libero, he's got the tire as well. You can see just back off into a perfect spot to go ahead and let her rip.
Just gonna stall it out there. He doesn't want to give it up too quickly. He knows that everyone is hiding in their holes now, trying to find someone rooted out. Tire's getting low. Gets nothing.
But look at how much time that wasted. So little now for London Spitfire to work with. The tanks are gonna have to throw themselves bodily onto the point. They have to get the coordination down perfect, and Jester is backed up by Birdring. So they will be able to move in together. Birdring trying to go for the stick, not gonna find it. That could have been a big one, but Prophet this time getting more out of his blade. One kill and the second, and they managed to tie it up. In the chaos, London Spitfire get that final tick.
It's such a good zoning blade onto the corner there, knocking down both supports. But God, look at that time bank. That's not good. Ideally now with 0 time left on the clock, London's best hope is a draw. You got to keep New York XL off point A Anubis. Only 33% for 5 minutes.
5.
I'll give you a chance. You want to change your prediction now? I'll give you one chance right now.
My guns. Do you see Brenji written on my
No,
forehead?
I do not.
Thank you very much. London Spitfire, don't underestimate. It's been a rough start here, Hanks, but they can definitely bring it back.
That is a rough one.
I mean, 5 minutes, though. We've seen crazier things happen.
I actually have seen a 5-minute hold on Anubis first. It's absolutely possible. See how the last moments went down here in our replay. We get a couple kills from Jonak, but everyone does end up getting off of the point. I mean, look, we call London the C9 team. They could have had a body there.
Yeah, Meko, you can see Meko was trying to get that pressure up onto Birdring in the back, or onto Prophet in the back with that blade.
You know what's so scary about both of these teams is I don't think they've even reached their final level. Not even close, because there's times where we've seen New York and London both make just rookie mistakes. Mistakes that can be coached out, that can be fixed very easily. Getting off of objectives has been one of them for both of these teams. Not just London, I know that's the joke, but New York has made some mistakes as well. It's just teams are not able to find the right chance to punish them. London looking for the defense of a lifetime.
Time to make a statement. And this certainly would be one if you could close it out, get that door, get that wall erected, and not let New York through. Jonak taking damage, Meko using his body to block any kind of damage coming through. And well, doesn't matter, doesn't help. Prophet finds Jonak. Arc will use the res, but that's it. It's on cooldown now. But they were being so slow and steady. Of course, why? Why rush things when you've got 5 minutes if you're New York?
There's no point to it. Get everyone in the proper position. I don't know if they've spotted Libero back here. He's been very sneaky. He's taken a really long route. I don't know about those shurikens right there. I'd prefer him to dash up right away and see if he can get it. He actually kind of exposed his position, but it does put the Widow into a different spot than he was previously. He's got pack control, so he's fine.
Oof. A good thing for him that he had that pack as well. Otherwise, that body shot would have done him in. Instead, he will survive a little bit longer, and now they are pretty spread out here in New York. Janice is going to decide it's time to take the fight. He will have Meko backing him up. Arc trying to get the heals in there as well to make sure the tank doesn't get overwhelmed. And really, it's on Libero and Saviobi to come up with the magic here. Saviobi now caught in the corner, has to get out.
They've got them both together, but they both took different angles. They're unable to find the same target at the same time, which was what their design was there, to get both Tracer and Genji on the same hero. Libero down to 6 HP. I need healing. I need healing.
Oh, but Gesture goes down as well. That might slow things down. He's got a long way to run back, and it's going to be tough to get a res off.
Yeah, but then they do lose Jonak early as well, so if they want to go in, it'd only be a 4 versus 5, not the ideal situation. And what was once 5 minutes now steadily goes down to 3 minutes. New York does seem to just be banking ultimates, though. However, on the other side of things, it's not like when it was London's offense. They've been competitive in these fights, they've been making trades, so you're not going to have a huge economic advantage.
Yeah, they're farming their own ults as well. Arc and Jonak are already locked in, but Ocean and Nuss will have theirs in a couple of seconds here. So this is just going to be the all-out brawl on the point when they feel that they're ready to go. Nades are going off in the distance.
But back out a little bit. They're trying to set everyone up here, and the tanks are on low ground. The tanks are going to pick the high ground they want to go to. Instead, they just go right on the point.
And they're looking to assassinate Janice immediately. Janice hanging on by a thread right now. They may be able to get rid of him. Somehow Janice is still alive. Finally, Fury going to run him over. There's Prophet with the tire, hunting for a target. 3 seconds left. Is he going to find anybody at all here? It doesn't look like it. Unfortunately for him, Saviobi's still alive in this, and Libero has found Prophet in the meantime, so the fight will continue.
Yeah, Prophet, of course, very vulnerable while he was channeling both. Even a huge stick from Saviobi! Takes down 3! He just cracked the point!
What a monster play. That will snuff it here. It was looking so good for London Spitfire, but they will do it. New York, off the back of a hero pulse from Saviobi, will pick up the map and the lead in the series, 1-0.
They got the Diva out of mech, going for the self-destruct to remech there. That is the signal that a Pulse Bomb is going to find a target. Launches it in there. The guy who I always say has been the best tracer in the league, proving me right once again. Thank you, Sabiobi. New York XL hops out to a 1-0 lead.
He doesn't make mistakes. He doesn't make mistakes. One error, and that's all he needs to completely crush your hopes and dreams. On map 1, we'll see if London Spitfire can bounce back and tie it up 1-1 after the break.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Saturday, Seoul, Korea.
Sabiobi leading the charge. He said, how you feeling? He said, just one word, ready.
새벽에 산책을 많이 나가요. 그럼 이제 한국에서는 별이 보이는데 그거를 이제 별똥별 같은 게 떨어지면은 그걸 별비라고도 부를 수 있거든요. 산책하는 걸 좋아해서 그렇게 지었어요. 새벽에 내리는 별비.
Oh, gonna get another one. He can't get close.
Really tricky play by Sabiobi. I love it.
원래 어릴 때부터 게임을 하면은 공격 포지션을 많이 했는데 다 때려 부수는 걸 좋아해요. 마음에 듭니다. 다 때려 부수는 거, 뚝배기 깨는 거.
That first damage between Libero and Sabiobi, that is brutal. And there we go, the follow-up. Sabiobi's just going ham right now. 6 plays.
좀 나중에 찔러도 되니까 기다렸다가 정확한 타이밍에 노리면 되는 거죠. 상으로 누군가 찌르는 타이밍. 서울팀 다이너스티랑 맞붙고 싶은데 경기장에 오면은 글쎄요. 다른 경기에서 느끼지 못한 것들을 느끼게 해줄게요.
Yeah, I'm glad to catch up with Saviobi here, get a few of his thoughts on Star Rain, etc. But some players aren't able to make it happen on stage. They suffer a little bit. Not this man, even plays up to the crowd. One of the all-stars of the league, the ultimate beast, as far as I'm concerned. And yes, he has already just dominated outright in this first map.
Yeah, and you know, you see some of the clips there of him on the Widow. His Tracer, of course, is his biggest hero, and he cracked it open right here. As I mentioned, no diva. You stick it right there. They're all clumped up, and boom. That is the play to seal down Anubis first. But you also see him running Widow. A lot of the teams that have struggled kind of coming up and are in the middle of the pack right now, they have to sub people in and out, like, oh, it's a Widow map. Oh, we need this, we need that. New York doesn't have to. I mean, they can play anything at any time with these heroes. Libero, we've seen highlights of his Widow, but then he'll run a Junkrat, he runs a Pharah, runs everything. And just to have that consistency is so key for this team. They don't really make a whole lot of subs.
They don't. And that is the ultimate peak, right? What you're aiming for is to have that versatility on the server at all times. We've seen other teams suffer where, Control in particular, where you get that odd map out, and then all of a sudden you have a chance, you're competitive. Oh, no, wait, you need a totally different roster here, and you fall apart. That doesn't happen with New York. They've got everything, in every map.
New York does have really good subs, though, and this was a man who made his name on Ilios, will be coming in. It is the big boss of Pine coming down. He will be subbing in. Pine, you're on camera. Come on. Hey! Pine with probably one of the best 5 minutes of McCree I've ever seen in my life in stage 1 on Ilios. Just played so well on that. He's going to come in for Blizzard World because they like to run McCree there. We've got some big changes coming up for London. Hagopin's in for Badoshin. Closer's coming in as well for Nuss, so this whole support backline is changing.
And we've got Wuhyal as well. We got Wuhyal coming through here to replace Fury. So they will be subbing it up. You and I were discussing, given the next map in this series, we were wondering, teams, they have this depth of roster. It allows for them to have players that perhaps specialize every week on different maps. Do you think that's the case here?
I think it might be part of the case. I know a lot of the guys from London did take a break over the break, went back to Korea, and so that not a lot of scrim time. But this is the not main roster, is a nice way to say it. So maybe they were scrimming a little more on Blizzard World. I think Wuhyal is definitely a more aggressive diva than Fury is, so maybe they have some plays up in that, and I think it's a good diva map for him. So they work very well together, these tank lines, even when they rotate in the divas. But London so far has not won Blizzard World. They're 0-1, not that big of a deal. New York undefeated on Blizzard World. They're 1-0 on it. So I think teams are still figuring it out, but this does seem to be shaping up to be a very good McCree map.
It's a McCree map. What can splatter a McCree map?
Well, that would be a Winston.
That would be a Winston. So we got some clips to take a look at him. I mean, Gesture, he was trying to get in. You can see maybe even overextending at times, really trying to make plays happen, but he is one of the key parts of London Spitfire, one of the keys to their success in these past series, and really just seen as one of the very best tanks in the league, flat out, hands down.
Yeah, when London is very good, it's when everyone is following his lead. And when they've struggled a little bit, especially on Anubis there, Gesture will make a play, and even maybe one of his DPS will come with him, but the supports aren't necessarily there on time. And so Gesture goes in, he makes a big play, and then he dies. And I think it shakes his confidence a little about when to go to make these plays in the future. We're going to head to Blizz World, the newest map of the Overwatch League. Still trying to figure this one out, but I bet my bottom dollar we're going to see McCree at least on one of these teams, probably on the offense. It seems to be the in-favor thing. You go up to the right side, you try to just slow poke onto that point, and then shoot people in the face.
Listen, you got Big Papa Pine on the server.
Yes.
We damn well better hear Spurs jingling. The Peacekeeper plays
you know what's funny? I talk about the best McCree I've ever seen, 5 minutes of. You remember that Junkertown where Pine absolutely crushed with Flanking Widow before Flanking Widow was a thing? He's making these drop-down shots. Like, that was the best minute of Widow. It's just insanity, this guy's pure all-out mechanical skill. I think we're going to see a little more of him from New York this stage.
Oh, I'm just happy to see him back in the server here and able to compete. For a while there in the stage, we didn't really see him too long. It turned out that he was actually dealing with some mental challenges, you know, getting focused in. I mean, this is a lot that these players are going through, moving across the world, you know, competing day in, day out in the Overwatch League. And so, Pine struggled a little bit, but it seems like now he's back to form. He's feeling positive, and you know, I'm looking forward to seeing him perform here on map 2.
A Pine in top form is terrifying, and as good as the other DPS for New York have been, I do still just have this feeling that Pine still might be the best Widow on this roster, the best pure aimer. Just aim. Like, Sabiobi is amazing tracer. We all know that. Great tracking. But as far as flicks go, the kind of aiming that McCree and Widow require, Pine has just shown again and again in the limited playtime he's gotten that he doesn't miss shots.
Yeah, he doesn't miss shots. Mechanically, he's outstanding. It's always been on the mental side of things, in terms of communication with the team, in terms of his own mental state. So now it's just a matter of him getting that unlocked, and yes, that he can be one of the standout players on all fronts in the league. So we'll see how it all breaks down here, as London Spitfire will be starting on the defense. New York Excelsior on the offense, Pine on the Widow to kick things off. That's definitely not a bad thing.
Right,
Looking
so
for the headshots.
a little bit different London defense here. Early on, they had tried to do a Sombra Tracer defense. Didn't necessarily work out. They did end up going with a Junkrat at some point in time as well. London has really just... seems like they don't have set compositions for the last several maps. They've been trying a lot of different things and whatever's working. They're playing around the team that they're playing against. And we'll see what Prophet can get done with all that damage, but Pine is just going to be looking for angles. We've seen this be the path of entry for a lot of teams. London playing passively. They're playing point here. They're going to let their Widow do some work.
There we go. Nobody wants to be the first Widow to make a first mistake here. Birdring is making progress as far as the ult is concerned. He's hitting some shots. Pine really does not want to step out, but then Jonak is the one who robs Pine of the frag, but still, important thing is that Birdring is dead and not in a very easily resable position either.
Oh, that's the problem with being aggressive on Widow, which we've seen so in style lately of playing these flanks, trying to be aggro Widow. You die like that, you can't get resurrected. It's one of the reasons we see so much Widows, because when she dies, she's in reservoir positions. The tanks will re-engage for London.
Yes, they do manage to make it back in here in time. And well, with that, Birdring has already swapped over, getting back onto that Tracer as quick as possible here. Wants to take the fight to him, and already he's kind of caught in the corner here, but he is stalling things out. Just trying to keep things alive here for London Spitfire. As Prophet gets brought back to life, the tanks decide to get back in there. There's the stick, and the D-Mech to follow.
Oh, we all out of mech now, and they continue to clean up. Out of mech, they do a self-destruct over the top. Now Prophet out of this fight too. It just seems like an inevitability that New York will take this. They're getting all the kills. That is a Tracer duel won by Sabiobi. It does seem like New York, in short order, will take this eventually, despite that self-destruct. They bought a little bit of time. See if we see any changes come out from London here. Prophet's got a tire, so he'll probably stay on this Junkrat.
They're already looking for the poke battle here, but this is Jonak to start. For him,
sees
it just clean.
It's not even a volley, it's just a Discord at the right hand, an Orb Destruction with the left. He makes it look so easy.
In the meantime, Pine has found the headshot on Hagapun, but Hagapun is brought back to life. So Mercy Res is down on cooldown. Pine, yes, heal him. Keep the man alive. Damage boost him too. Barely gets the shot on Doshin there.
Meanwhile, Birdring does land his shot on Arc, so that could slow them down. I think they were retreating anyway, but Prophet's going to make sure of it. We'll shut down Pine there, and now the defense has stabilized. They're in a good position. Prophet died after using Tire. I think it's still a good Junkrat point. It's a point where they've continued to run Junkrat, so they will stay on it. Just getting all the siege damage up top. Also, Junkrat's got a great amount of mobility, too. If you need help on the high ground, he can get up there with you.
Yeah, you can just pop up there, and that is definitely a key part of this second point on Blizz World. You've got the terrace, the pylon terrace, where you usually see quite a bit of the fights go down as the defense try to hold the high ground. Offense will poke at it, and it's a bit of a back and forth, but Pine has found Birdring to kick things off here in this next fight. And Saviobi already putting pressure here on the healers, not really gonna let him get in for free until Chester shows up out of nowhere and sidelines him.
Oh, they're unable to get that resurrection either, and now they're just gonna pop balls. Closer down, Hago pin down. There goes Prophet. The resurrection comes back up on Saviobi. That is a full roster of New York. Well, now minus Pine, but Birdring's the only one alive. This is still a point where London can hold defensively because, well, a second kill helps, and their spawn is right around this corner.
Wow, Janus really getting out there as well. He was alone in the middle of nowhere, and so that payload, they're not really going to be able to put up much of a fight.
No,
New York giving ground, waiting for the reses to come back through.
They're just going to regroup over here. It's going to be interesting to see if London presses this issue because they are not in safe areas at all. Pine will take down Birdring, throws away that pulse bomb. I believe it got eaten up. Closer brings him back to life. So, 6v6 still here as they're stuck in the arcade.
Well, 6v6 now, and in the meantime, guess what's happening, Hex? Janus, he's backcapping. He's sitting on the payload the entire time that London are fighting. Janus is pushing that payload forward. London finally realize it and get back. But sick plays from Janus, I love it. Rez is in, sure, go fight my team. It's great. Let me just remind you, this is about the payload.
Yeah, they do end up losing both of their supports after that, though. It's a cheeky play, but you are putting your team at a disadvantage by having them fight an uneven numbers there. I like the effort, though. If there's any team that's going to fall for it, it's going to be London. I mean, hell, we saw Seoul fall for it yesterday as well. So that's a really cheeky play to get in there, but it might have cost them the area control they needed. So I don't mind having a Tracer there to try to back up, because then you can always go fight with the team and it pulls them off the point. But the Winston, there's a unique aspect of it. They have a little under 2 minutes to push. No ultimates of worth to speak of on the board.
Not quite exactly. Both of the supports duos are working up to their ults used in that last fight, so we will have a little bit of time. As Birdring is now able to see through walls, Pine is of course aware of this, and so he's really gonna have to be careful about which angle he decides to take a fight at, and well, he's not gonna have to wait for too long. London Spitfire decide to take the fight to them. Jester and Prophet, once again the deadly duo, finding the kills.
The first two to die in the last two fights have been the supports from the New York Excelsior, and there's no way you can continue to push after that. In fact, you have to hasten your retreat there just to make sure. We'll see where London wants this up now because they have the entirety of map control on second point here.
This is what we were talking about, though, earlier in terms of that combo duo. Prophet always seems to be there on the spot with Jester. As soon as Jester decides, hey, it's time to get in there and initiate, Prophet's right there to pick up the kills. It's either Jester or Prophet.
It's about living up to the lore. Tracer and Winston, good buddies in the lore, good buddies in the actual meta as well. Birdring and Pine have been exchanging all game. It's been very back and forth between these two. Meanwhile, they do try to res him. Now in a tough spot again. Prophet putting on so much pressure.
Could have just gone for the free stick there. I guess he wanted to hold on to the, he just wanted to hold on and get more out of this pulse bomb, and we'll see if Prophet can find the angle. Getting topped up immediately. Pine has found Woohyol in the meantime. So we're down a man here for London Spitfire, down a man on the defense, and there's a golden opportunity now for New York to push in and get that payload through to the second point.
And down to 30 seconds here as well as they continue to try to put some pressure on Prophet. Has been holding on to this bomb for this moment right now. He's gonna wait for Transcend to fade and then try to find himself a support target.
Oh, wow. He was definitely a little bit close there to going up in smoke. But we will have the D.Va back in play, and so he has to worry about that D-Matrix with the Pulse Bomb. If he catches him looking the wrong way, that could be it. Arc, however, caught out in the middle of nowhere. Collapsed on, and that is going to spell doom and destruction as Meko gets pulsed.
And Pylon Terrace, where offenses come to die, is living up to its name. We must construct additional pylons for the offense. They will be stopped right there. And that was another fight where the names you see on top of each other in the kill feed on the right-hand side, Arc and Jonak, they've done such a good job against every other team in the league of keeping themselves alive. But London knows that you can't just devote a Tracer at it and be like, go deal with the supports. No, it's a Tracer and it's two tanks. They're sending Woohyol after it as well, which might be the reason he's subbed in. He's very aggressive when it comes to diving backlines.
Gets in there. You're right. And you can't really just send a Tracer in against Jonak. Jonak, he scoffs at that. Here's a couple headshots. Tracer's dead. Okay, I'll go back to killing the rest of your team. No. Just throw everything in there. Kill the backline and the rest follows.
It's like swatting flies. It's just a minor inconvenience before he can go down to dishing out more damage. There's Pine. It was pretty even between him and Birdring throughout that. See, 6 eliminations and 5 final blows for Birdring. Pine had 10 eliminations, 7 final blows. The final blow is really the number that matters there. But when they engaged each other in the duels, it seemed like they were both getting their pound of flesh here and there.
Yeah, and while Birdring's just doing a bit more damage being on the defensive side, he's going to just take pot shots at those tanks all day long. So, I mean, in terms of, it's just so balanced between both of these teams. They have all of the tools necessary. It's coming down to the smallest mistakes that end up costing them in terms of timing and the snap decisions.
Yeah.
You know, you were raking Genis over the coals for the back cap. I was all for it, Hex.
I mean, I love a back cap.
You're getting back in there.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? That back cap may very well win them the map because 122 meters, look, this is where we've seen so many pushes stall out. Of course, yesterday, a little bit of an aberration, saw maps finish. We still don't really know what is the norm here on Blizzard World, but the first day we saw it, it's dying right there around second. One map finished, then yesterday they were finishing it, but it seems like that is an area of this map where it's going to be the penultimate point to last because it seems like everyone's getting stuck right there.
Now countdown is over. We're going to get into it. London Spitfire on the offense, New York on the defense. They've swapped sides. And we're back into very similar strategies as well. Pine, however, going projectile here, interestingly enough.
Pine on a Junkrat is interesting, but this is the role that Libero would play. He's been playing the Junkrat for them when they want to run a Junk Widow on this situation, so makes a little bit of sense, I guess.
That could just be Pine, you know, putting in the work in the background, right?
Yeah.
You know, I need to get more heroes in my pool so that I can get more playtime. Fine, fair enough.
Sabiobi, an absolutely capable Widow as well, and it might just be that Pine just doesn't feel it, and he knows it, and you make that call that you're aware of it, that I'm not getting the better of it right now. Let me play something a little less aim-intensive. Jonak will take down Prophet early, and that should be...
What is this Mary Chase that Vanish is leading him on? What is going on? Will they eventually kill this monkey? There we go, finally.
Wuyal out of fight now as well as Jonak continues to punish tanks who get anywhere near him. He's going for a volley on the right-hand side, doesn't hit it. Birdring finds himself an angle between the legs.
Pine finds himself a mini diva, but Wuyal gonna get rezzed up immediately, and here we go. Riptire out into the thick of things. Where's it coming from? Are they gonna be able to get it off? Yes, they will. Perfect Birdring out of it. And no res to bring him back into the fight quickly enough, so they will have to play this patiently. London Spitfire, wait for him to get back and spawn, and well, New York aren't gonna wait. They're looking for stagger kills.
Yeah, it's a little surprising that London just totally back out there. If they weren't gonna go in, they should have got out. You can't not make a choice and sit in the middle there. You will be punished for it all day. You've got the likes of Jonak on the other side, a volley across the map, and absolutely crushes that. And that's a stagger that London gave themselves. There was no need for it. If you weren't going in, then get out.
Just back up to spawn. Take no risks. Oh, well, here we go. Saviobi, now exactly. Just patient, just wait so he gets the maximum amount out of his ultimate, out of his infra sight. So now they can see through walls here, New York Excel. That's definitely going to make life a little bit easier here on the defense as they decide to go for the initiate. London Spitfire launching their takes in there bodily. Janice getting top back up again, manages to make it out, so no initial kill here picked up for London Spitfire. Prophet shows up in the back line, however, still looking for kills.
Jonak is feeling very safe. He's going for damage because he knows he can pop Transcend at any time, but he's got his buddy Arc with him. Look at his HP. It drops down to 100, back up to 200. He has no worries in the world, which allows him to play as aggressively as he does.
Well, now they're deciding it's time to get in here because Pine has been clipped by Prophet. Jester's killed himself somehow. I guess he's taking a bath out the backside.
Yeah, but he got knocked off the edge there. They continue to abuse these tanks that are trying to initiate for the London Spitfire. Every time they come in, they're discorded and focused and then bullied out. Meanwhile, Primal Rage in the background knocking people about. Not going to pick up kills there, but Janice will live through it. And
we're down to a minute here, Hex.
Absolutely. That's a huge kill, though. Sabiobi down.
Sabiobi down.
Razton right away.
Yeah, Arc is going to get it right away as well. Prophet still hanging around here, but Pine finds Birdring, and that might throw things out of whack as Mecco runs Prophet over. Closer will be able to bring Birdring back into it. They are making progress on this point, but then Janice is here, and between Mecco and Janice, it's looking a little grim here for London Spitfire. These tanks have got the support. Jonak has got Trans up again online. Both of these Zoomyadas going to work, and in the meantime, in the chaos, Sabiobi finds the headshot on Birdring.
That's ridiculous. They just used Transcendence the previous fight, not even the fight. It didn't really even end, and now he's got another one. Riptire comes in, does get them very low. No finish there. There's the finish, and that's brutal with only 20 seconds left.
Mecco, that's such a huge delay. Woohyall getting demeched as well. It's not going to help. Luckily, he has self-destruct, so he can get him back again fresh. But now they've found the back line. This is a catastrophe. Agopun overwhelmed. Closer not going to do much better. Trying to go for the quick reset, and he does, but you got 7 seconds on the clock now, London.
Well, Gesture needs to get a little bit of damage, but he's half health and he's got no heals in sight because if he got a little bit, he would have been able to Primal Rage and stall that out as it is. New York is locking down Blizzard World.
2-0 lead for New York and Maps now. Extending that lead in this series and a hard hold on Blizzard World. Brutal. We've seen teams pick up the first point at least, but London Spitfire, when you're up against the best, they weren't able to measure up today.
You have to wonder if the wholesale roster changes come back to bite them there because New York saw their indecision, saw the mistakes they were making and pounced on them. And as close as these teams are in every set that we've covered them, it comes down to who can exploit the other's mistakes. So far, it's been New York over London.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. And by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network.
Xavier out here dropping pulse bombs like nobody's business, and he and his team are up 2-0 at the break. Welcome back, Blizzard Arena. You guys still with us? It's Saturday night, and we got an awesome series on our hands. Welcome, everybody. Puckett here at the desk, and I got the halftime crew. Once again, it's Reinforce alongside Sideshow. Both of you guys picked New York this time. Tied up 1-for-1 on the day. Both of you going for the squad that's in the lead so far. Sideshow, why did you see this one coming as you made your early prediction?
Well, New York are very good on the control maps that we haven't even got to yet, and also they just seem to be a more structured, consistent team. I think when you come into maps like Blizzard World, where it's all about learning the map very quickly and preparing set rotations, and then our first map, Anubis, where it's about preparing really set compositions like we saw Boston perform earlier, NYXL really excel at this kind of stuff. So at the moment, they're playing really well.
Reinforce, I want to start with you here because we were watching the games and you said Libero just clutched up. It looked like London was going to be able to roll on Anubis. They got shut down. How did it happen?
Well, it came down to shutting down the enemy Zenyatta. So let's go into our Telestration segment and check out how he did it. Actually sacrificed some time on the point. So we can see that Gesture gets a pick right in the top right corner. They're down here fighting together, and they actually put up a pretty good fight. They get a lot of picks, and this is a fight they should win. But meanwhile, Libero has a tire out, and this time around, it's actually not going to get anything. So we're going to play this one out. We see that it's going for Nuz, but the tire itself, it dies out, it doesn't get anything. Now you see London Spitfire, tons of picks, right? Even on the Mercy, onto Janus, on the Winston. This is a fight you need to win on the offense. But still, Libero, he is over here, and he realizes that this is a fight that perhaps is in our disadvantage. And of course, we will sacrifice some time on the point. But instead, he will go for Bedosian, which is down here, because he realizes if I remove the Discord Orb from the equation, then London will have a lot less damage to actually cap this point out. So despite the fact London are on the point fighting, Libero targets Bedosian on purpose. He gets rid of the Discord Orb, the Harmony Orb, and a potential Transcendence. And that's something you can even do in ranked when you're playing yourself, because if you get rid of the Zenyatta with the Discord Orb, that's a huge sacrifice for the attacking team.
And I think a lot of people freak out. They hear that point ticking away, and they're like, oh, I got to get back to the objective. No.
Don't stress out.
Look at your surroundings first before you make the move.
And this is what NYXL do so well when they're on that defense, is they find one target, and even if it takes 3 people, kill one target, they get those 3 people back on the respawn really quickly, and then they're able to get it on Anubis. And on the subject of Libero, this guy had an insane performance. He normally averages 6 kills every 10 minutes on Genji against London Spitfire. He got 6 in the first 3 minutes of this game as they just rolled through. This first attack was crazy snowbally from NYXL.
We were looking at the numbers. I mean, the stats wizards popped it up mid-game. Libero was 12-1 when you look at his eliminations to deaths on Genji alone, but he does so much. He was the Stage 2 MVP for a reason. I love seeing him on the Junkrat as well. Spitfire, though, I was a little bit caught off guard. A slower start than I expected from this squad. Was there anything in their gameplay that was off in game number 1, John?
I think that overall, this map just favors the New York Excelsior, and so I think we expected New York to maybe clutch this map. Bird Ring didn't really pop off as expected. It was a bit unconventional play, in my opinion. And so, going into the escort map, or the hybrid map, rather, of course, I perhaps expected London to put up a better fight than they did.
They actually had a really good hold on this first part. They put themselves in a poor situation, and with 5 minutes left on the clock, they actually whittled a lot of it away. But that missed tire that you just saw from Profit, and then the 3K coming out from Sabiorbi, even if your game's really good, like London's was on the defense, they're proactive, they're picking off people. Libero couldn't really get in the fights. If they've got clutch plays like that, there's not much you can do when they only need a tick. So NYXL set themselves up and then deliver with star performance.
I don't even think SBB expected 3 people to blow up from that pulse bomb. Amazing way to close out game number 1. He does it with the Tracer ultimate. Let's take it over to map 2, though, because I was shocked to see both teams making roster swaps. Pine is coming in for New York Excel. Libro's on the bench on the other side. Spitfire making all kinds of moves.
And Pine is the big talking point for me here, because this is a new map in the pool. So New York, maybe they aren't too sure about their game. What are we going to play on this map? And so they put in Pine, high risk, high reward, and they think, hey Pine, we don't really know how this map is going to play out. Let's put you in, just get a few picks, and we can roll off that.
This map is so interesting as well, because it has these little inside compartments in point B that you're seeing here. Tons of really small choke points, all very close together. And that makes defensive play around point B very, very strong. So London Spitfire able to hold here, set themselves up with a decent win condition. When NYXL push, they retreat inside, Pine can't get any sight lines, and then they're able to get the individual picks. But when it came to their push, when it came for London Spitfire to attack, the NYXL showed a really dominant defense of that point A and utterly locked them out.
We almost did see a backhand from Janus. I will give him props for that. Didn't quite get the second point. But the biggest shocker for me was London not even able to unlock this point A. How did they get shut down? What's New York doing to them?
To me, it is that putting all your eggs in the same basket. It's all about birdering on the Widowmaker to find your picks. Usually when they play Huyol and Hagepun, in my eyes, they're playing a bit more coordinated as a team, and that means birdering on the Widowmaker has to find picks. He didn't, and he only swapped to Genji in these final pushes, and at that point, it really didn't matter to me.
Yeah, I was really trying to think, what are they getting out of Hageman and Closer? Why have they subbed these guys in? I couldn't tell you at the end of that map. Normally, as you say, it's because they're trying to play a bit more of like a structured style rather than a really aggressive, trying to dive really deep kind of approach. But it didn't really work there. Can't say it worked out well.
Overall, it didn't look like they had any practice time on the map, because that strategy, playing a Widowmaker on offense, I'm not convinced at all. I wouldn't play it in ranked.
It's the new map. It's the new map. It's rough that they have to play New York here in week 1. London's still not out of this one, but Josh, you've been very confident, and you've been letting your predictions know not only here on stream, but also on Twitter. Let's go ahead and read. If London wins today, I'll record a video of myself singing God Save the Queen in a Union Jack outfit to passerbys. New York XL have this 70-30.
Yeah, I was pretty
This is what it could look like, ladies and gentlemen. How many people want to see the Spitfire come back and win this series?
A lot of NYXL fans in the building, I'll tell you that.
I like that. I just don't think anyone wants to see you in that outfit ever, including your mother. Let's talk about the second half, though, because if you look at the history, all 3 times these teams have matched up, it's gone to game 5. We've even seen a reverse sweep situation between these teams in the past. How does London make it happen? How do we get ourselves to that tiebreaker?
It's going to be rough. We have Junkertown still in the pool, and then it's all about the Widowmakers once again. Birdering, he felt pretty confident on the Widowmaker, but are you going to put in Pine again? Libero? It's a hard matchup, so it's going to be rough for the London Spitfire.
Yeah, and I think when we saw them in the Stage 1 finals, London were able to get that reverse sweep and actually won it in that way. When they're coming into Nepal here, NYXL are the better control team. I expect NYXL to lock it up in 3. They're going to prove once again that they're the best team in the Overwatch League.
All right, well, you heard it from our desk. They think it's going to be all NYXL. I'm still cheering for London. I want to see this one go to Game 5. Make some noise, Blizzard Arena. And real quick, reminder, we got the All Access Pass available right now on twitch.tv. Get it going, see all of the best angles in the game, hear from your favorite pros, and of course some AMAs after the show is done. That's it for halftime. When we come back, it's a big Game 3 on Nepal.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places.
The NYXL currently hold a 2-0 lead over the London Spitfire after the first half. And today must be a day of vengeance because I feel like every team that's got a run back, they've taken full advantage of it. And this just goes to show you that any given day here at the Overwatch League, you can get bodied. Now, one of the players that's been doing their thing for the NYXL is the illustrious player by the name of Arc. And Arc's actually going to be doing an AMA at the end of the day for all of our All Access viewers. So, guys, if you have the Overwatch League Twitch All Access Pass, please hop on and ask him questions. You can ask him how he's spending his Stage 2 winnings, or how about his illustrious friendship with our guy Dreamcasper, because they're best friends. If you didn't know that, they are actually really cool. But that will be happening at the end of this match. But the match won't be over until we get into the second half. Can the London Spitfire bring it back to a fifth map? Let's find out right now and get back into the action with our casters, Simler and Hex.
That's right. Nope, not gonna happen this time. But
Oh, I left hanging.
I know. I was going for it, but I think Malik is so in the zone there. No room for shenanigans, Hex. You know, the question is whether or not London Spitfire are going to come up with some shenanigans of their own, because they got to come up with something magical here to start turning things around versus New York.
Yeah, they're gonna make some changes. It's really, when you cut down to this level of Overwatch, at the highest level, it's who's gonna make mistakes, and they're both gonna make some, but who's gonna capitalize on it. New York's just done a better job of it so far. Mono will come back in for Genis as we make our way to Nepal. There is the man Libero coming back in for Pine, who, you know, Pine, it was very strange. We were trying to figure out, like, why did he swap over to what he swapped over? Of course, Hureg also coming in for Birdring, which may be a bit of a surprise, too. So we have a lot of theory crafting, trying to work out these rosters. Pine, I feel, is the most hit-or-miss player in the league. You can catch lightning in a bottle with him and hit every single headshot, but I think he just wasn't feeling it on the Widow there, which is why he didn't play it on the defense. If you noticed on his POV, he missed a couple of wide-open shots on Zenyatta's, and maybe that's really, hey, I just don't have it right now. Let me play Junkrat instead.
Oh, I mean, Junkrat's, I mean, it's great. It eliminates the need for aim.
Yeah.
Just throw grenades in there. Fine. Oh, yeah, I'll just throw damage in their general vicinity and something will die.
Something will die, and that's exactly what happened there. But then it doesn't even matter when you're New York, because you're just like, hey, save Yobi, I just play Widow. No problem, I got it.
Yeah,
No
right.
problem. So we're going to see what comes out of both of these teams here. We had prophesized that perhaps Hureg coming in means that a Pharah could be in the mix for London to try to get something going against this New York XL team. Look, back against the wall now. They lose this series is over. And that would be a stunning turnaround, considering, you know, we talk about the history. 2 and 3, map 5 every single time these teams play.
Yeah, 15 maps played. I mean, it goes the distance every single time. But coming into Control now, where it isn't a tied situation 1-1, where New York are up 2-0, and considering London, a bit touch and go on the Control maps.
Yeah, well, they're about 60% win rate on Control, whereas New York is holding about an 80% win rate. The last time they played Nepal on Shrine, they opted for this kind of McCree and Tracer loadout, but they're going to try something completely different, is London. They're going to run Hureg on the Pharah. And right now, if the New York Excelsior run this, which is their style that they like to play on Shrine as well, a Junkrat Tracer, they're going to have no good answer for Pharah in the sky. They're going to have to switch, of course, capable of doing so, maybe running a McCree, a 76, even a Widow on this situation. But right now, they've got no answer. They're going to have to try to play under this rooftop here, but this is a great Pharah point.
Yeah, exactly. Look at this. Just dancing around, chucking the angles in there. I mean, you are still playing against Jonak, don't forget.
Yeah.
Hex,
He
you
was
are still
looking for
playing against Jonak.
I saw him out there. He was looking to sniper out.
Jonak's looking for the volleys right now. He will definitely ruin Hureg's day, given half a chance. Libero eating some rocket damage, though, and Hureg, man, he is getting up to that barrage so quickly, already to 80%.
Oh no, he missed his concussion. He wanted to get much more aggressive over there to follow up that dive with his team. Meanwhile, leaves Gesture out to dry, who eats a concussion, and now they're getting pushed back. That's just a small mistake. Mechanically, you gotta be able to get in there. He was looking to propel himself forward with that ability, did not do it. And yeah, Semler's smiling ear to ear because Jonak did clean up Hureg with the Zenyatta snipe.
I mean, what? Oh, a McCree? Jonak every single time. He's like, hold on. Just give me a second here. Look at this guy.
It's not fair. It's just not fair.
What a beast.
To be able to deal with a Pharah Mercy with a Junkrat Tracer on the ground because they're constantly going to be discorded is just a blessing. And look at this! Look at the vengeance!
He doesn't care. You don't need him, man. Just leave it in Jonak's capable hands. You go for the barrage, don't worry. I'll just right-click you to death.
Look, justice often comes out from a place of anger, and Zen's all about that tranquility, so he had to shut that down right away. Hurek goes for the solo barrage onto Jonak. I'm sorry I'm giggling, but that was just silly.
That's brutal, man.
That's silly.
Is so brutal. And now Prophet's decided, hey, I gotta get in here, but Trance will be up for Jonak, of course. He's been hitting so many orbs. He's got his ult ready to go. And Libero, yet again, has found the kill on Gesture. Self-destruct out into the open. Shouldn't be finding any targets, and it won't, as Mano is gonna chase Prophet off of the site, and it is another reset coming through here for London Spitfire. They've got one more good fight on the board.
Hurek's gonna reset there. Farah's gonna go off the edge and wait because they only have this one fight at 75%. Meanwhile, the last ults to come out were that Transcendent Self-Destruct. Still have wings, still have a tire, and a Pulse Bomb. New York in a great position. Finally, the switch comes out. London Spitfire, Hurek's on the McCree, and this is what they generally try to run here, a McCree Tracer. But you have to think that maybe Hurek isn't the guy you want on your McCree.
Maybe. Well, Sabi will be right into the thick of it, but we already have the sound barrier out. As Libero is hunting for a target with the tire, Hurek the perfect choice. Hagafun goes down as well to Mano, and they're falling right now one after the other for London. Spitfire in desperation, trying to get on to this point, trying to make something happen, but it isn't pretty. It's definitely looking like New York will get this on lock. Even Gesture with the Primal Rage isn't gonna last for long here if everybody from New York is focusing him down.
And just absolutely cleaning up. How many kills have they gotten this entire round? One
London final blow.
Spitfire got one kill that entire round. Libero died once.
By the way, that was
Get it together, Libero. Yeah, it was Gesture. Gesture was initiating well, but okay, we talked about that first initiation, right? Gesture goes in, they look to get the Farah in right over top, right behind him, damage boost, misses a concussion, misses his ability to get in there. And then Gesture's left out to dry, eats a mine. It's happened a couple times, and this is why I have to start wondering, like, if you're Gesture, what are you thinking right now? I'm going in, it seems like there's always a problem, no one's ever coming in with me, and it just shakes your confidence. You see him right there, of course, he's gonna keep this game face on, but man, that would eat me up. We are going to Sanctum though, so we're gonna see some wonky stuff here. Widows on both sides. You'll see Junkrats, you'll see Roadhogs, you see Orissas, both running very similar compositions. This one's all about the mid fight. If the team that loses the mid fight, they usually give it one more shot before they switch to dive.
Yeah, exactly. Gesture's tired of running in there, so he's deciding, you know what? I'm just gonna set a point. You guys stand behind me. It's not gonna be that difficult.
Oh, look, Gesture's still all alone.
He's still all alone.
He's alone on the point.
All right, maybe that's just the game plan. I mean, they are sticking together as a group over the DPS. Oh, Prophet, he saves himself. Nearly got halted into oblivion. Does manage to save himself at the last second.
Yeah, I think he got yanked off the edge and then concussed himself back onto the point, but it puts himself in a rough position, and they will get a couple of kills off it. Meanwhile, Closer's busy trying to res Hago, and this will be New York Excelsior's point.
Yeah, handily as well. Meko point blank just cranking out hurt. And there it is, rolls over, and New York starting to make their way through. They do manage to get it, only 12% on the board for London Spitfire. And then they're spread out. Now you gotta worry about Junkrat grenades, you gotta worry about the Widow still.
It just seems like London is in disarray with the rosters they've been fielding, the compositions they've been pulling out. It's just been musical chairs, and they just don't have a seat left to sit on.
I don't know, my theory is that when they lost to Philadelphia, that really dealt a blow to their confidence. Because right now it's feeling like they're second guessing themselves. When this was a team that just went in there with the likes of Gesture, just went in there and took fights. There's a bit of hesitation coming through now from London Spitfire.
Yeah, very good kill. They
go.
rack up 3 kills there. They fight in a small area. Perhaps New York did not really need to do that. In fact, New York absolutely didn't need to do that. They could have just chilled on the point and waited. That's one of the strengths of this composition, but New York gets a little over-aggressive and absolutely punished for it. And now this composition is not great at trying to take things back. London will do the same, though. They'll take this point over up front, provide some pressure here. Prophet's got to watch these angles because a hook will be coming in. Ooh, volley just misses.
Yeah, that's a haircut and then a shot. What is this? Prophet gets Meko? That's some very quick reactions from Huihyol to keep his Junkrat alive. That was so close.
I thought Junkrat and Roadhog were friends. My world's been shattered here. Prophet does have a tire ready to go too, and this is a really interesting area for a tire because you can go up, down this back wall into pack room. They should be expecting it though. He sees through these walls. He's looking for it. Oh! The mid-air nade!
So sick. Hagafun goes and takes out Jonak as well. Prophet still alive on this site, just gonna keep pumping damage into New York. And well, now he's going to be sitting pretty. Prophet, he's got his ult. They've got so many ults to work with right now on London Spitfire side of things.
Yeah, it's just about doling them out in the correct order. New York's also banking ultimates too. We'll see how they want to initiate. Oftentimes it is with those Valkyrie wings, get everyone near the fighting point, back it up with a Transcendence if need be. But I do like that London is kind of playing this much more passive around the corners here. They're going to drop a Supercharger. I believe that's just going to zone New York out. There's no real reason to come in and fight against it. They're going to tire onto it instead.
Tire in, perfect. It's hunting for a target. Prophet might be running into it, and well, Prophet, of course, will now go ahead and chuck his tire into the mix. Hureg finds Jonak. There was a halt.
They halted up Mako and then knocked him into the abyss there. The self-destruct will take the glory away from how beautiful that kill was. They will resurrect Jonak as it is desperation time as all the support ultimates coming out from both sides.
Yeah, everything getting into this, but Mako has still got his whole hog. When he gets back into this fight, it could get fun. London Spitfire, though, at 99% and counting. It is looking very good for him as Libero gets in to touch the point, keeping this fight alive. Meko as well, just launching himself in. He's got the hole, but he's not going to be able to do anything with it as Gesture will find the kill, and we will be in a tied situation. Tied up 1-1.
What a round from Prophet there. And you have to give London a lot of credit on disengaging better than New York disengaged. New York won that first point, got way far forward and didn't disengage when the pressure came in. London did the same. They took the point, went far forward, but when the pressure became too much, they were able to fall back as a team, go back to that point and make them fight on your own territory.
Yeah, it's one mistake. It was London making the mistakes in the first two maps. One overextension there from New York, and that ended up costing them. They definitely know it. And so it is going to go to the third point of this map. Get to see exactly what we have in store for us here. A whole variety of different strategies.
Well, let's see something a little better from Hureg, who struggled a little bit on that Pharah early on, had to switch off of it late, even though they didn't have a Pharah, anti-Pharah. And we've got a Bastion on the field from Libero.
Well, okay then.
It's really good against Pharah. Kind of.
Kind of. I mean, if you get a shield in there, yeah, definitely Mano don't want to get too far ahead of Libero there, but this is uncommon, to say the least.
Well, I mean, on this stage is actually the place where you will see Bastion more than anywhere else. Let's see, an old Cloud9 team used to do this. Shore4 used to run this composition a lot with his teams. We've seen it a little bit before, and now they just take point control, and that's me in the corner. That's me with the Gatling gun.
You can't even really get in here. They are going to try and dive it. There is a nade going on as well, but there's so much damage here, although the backline has been killed.
Yeah, Hureg earning his worth right now. Comes in, will clean the rest of it up. Pharah is a very good counter to a Bastion when he is left alone like that. Bastion's actually better against Pharah in recon mode. He's got a little better spread there than he does in tank mode. And this is, it's a really big, important stage for Hureg. One, whoever wins this stage, if it's New York, they lock down the series. If it's London, they keep themselves alive. This is the reason you bring Hureg in. He's in here to play Pharah on Nepal.
And as soon as they, yeah, exactly, Mano gets out of position, gets a little greedy with the hammer swing there, drops the shield, and that was it. Well, Prophet has found Jonak in the meantime, so that's going to slow things down further here for New York Excel, although we will have Winston Bubble going down, allowing Orc to get the res, and there's Sibyolbi finding Prophet.
Not just the bubble, Mako was there, I think he ate that pulse bomb and saw no explosion following up. They have switched over to their own Pharah, so it is time for some Top Gun. Highway to the danger zone indeed.
We got the barrage getting ready here for Hureg as well, so see if he finds the opportunity, if Jonak will end him before he gets the chance. Self-destruct just chucked out there.
That's a nice pulse bomb to be able to take the Diva out of the mix. Libero's got the high ground.
Makes it tough for Hureg to go for the barrage.
No, justice does not rain from below.
No. I thought I heard that before, right? It rains from above.
They are putting pressure onto the point to force Hureg into this position. They are going to sound barrier him so that he can live through this. But Mano with a nice dump and dive around the corner comes back in, and Hagopin will fall as well. Mano clutching it out. They will take control of the point.
Gonna go for the flip. They're trying to get in here, and yes, there are more New York bodies, and eventually it does get in.
Super scrappy, but now New York in control of the point, in control of the map. Very difficult to retake this with a Pharah, but they're going to stick on it. Hureg had a great Pharah life early on, so no reason to get off of it just yet. We'll see how they want to divide. There's sometimes where a team will just send 4 people on one completely opposite side of the map than the Pharah Mercy, and that seems to be that we're watching 2 different games right now. There's the air battle, there's the ground battle, and they have very little to do with each other right now.
Yeah, I mean, you can see focus for Hureg has been on the ground. It's Libero who's trying to shut that down, not going to quite connect. He is pretty much point blank. Still, missed opportunity there as they are trying to find their way in. London Spitfire, Sabiobi not going to allow it. Wins the duel versus Profit. That's a solid start. Means he can get in here and start working together with his tanks as Mono goes leaping in. No shocker there. Supposed to get aggressive on that Winston.
Everyone's just locked up in their duels, and that's the one single duel win by Sabiobi to win that Tracer battle, swung that battle in their favor. So now, a regroup from the London Spitfire, 85% in counting for NYXL with several ultimates on board. London must win this next fight or they lose the series.
There it is, the opportunity working together. Livero will get that done. Sabiobi's now got his pulse bomb online as well. Could go for the kill on Gesture, but Gesture gonna get the primal off in time. No surviving there. Livero sees the opportunity for the barrage, annihilates Hagopun. And we're into it now. Will they be able to battle back on this? London Spitfire hoping to flip it, but it's not looking likely as they get picked off one after another. Hureg dancing on the edge with the soldier, but it's not gonna be good enough. Nobody will be there to touch. And New York Excel will win the series 3-0, as clean as it gets.
The Empire State beating the Empire yet again. They've drawn this series close. These guys have played each other 4 times now. I believe it is 2-2, but it has never been this one-sided. New York is crushing it in dominant fashion. Hureg subbed in to play that far, had one decent life, one questionable life. London continues to play games with their roster back and forth. New York more stable, and it's absolutely paying dividends.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. Omened by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. And by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League.
this lovely man in the back is actually wearing sandals and socks, and you know what? I appreciate it. It looks absolutely fantastic. Now, at the beginning of halftime, New York Excelsior were up 2-0, so I went to the dugout of the London Spitfire and talked to their coach about the match at hand and their game plan coming into it. And he said something interesting. You know, New York is such a passive team. Everyone knows that they're sitting back and waiting for their opponents to actually engage. Now, London's plan going into this was being even more passive. All right, we're playing a game of chicken. So far, this has not been working out for London. We did see them playing a little bit more passive than what we used to. However, in the end, they still were the aggressor, and it's been working out for the New York Excelsior. Let's see if London Spitfire can bring it back on map number 4. And for all the action, we're heading over to Hex and Semler.
Thank you, Zoe. And well, yeah, I mean, if you're going to go for passive?
Yeah.
Passivity?
Yeah.
No, you gotta be in there setting the fight. Yeah, exactly. No.
If it's a game of chicken, London swerved first and hit a tree. This one's over. And they're like, they panicked, man. They're trying all sorts of different stuff. This is it. I think you're right when it's just like the stage 2 finals. You know, just crush their confidence, and they're trying all sorts of different stuff, and none of it's working. And it doesn't seem like there's any rhyme or reason to a lot of it. You can kind of see like, oh yeah, they want to run far here, but it's like just do what you do what's working. But they also got crushed by Houston the other day. Like they Junkrats give them problems. London needs a complete reboot here.
Yeah, they do. You know, New York is obliging them. They're slowly pushing that chicken into the broiler, adding some spice, and they're about to eat them up. In fact, they already have. They've won the series, New York. So we're getting a map 4 now. Of course, when it comes to playoffs, you know, these maps are going to count. But you can tell that London right now, they aren't too pleased with how this series has gone.
At all.
New York have eaten them alive, and it's all going to be on Junkertown where, you know, I'm almost just saying, let's get the pirate ship sailing again, right? Get in there to the merry seas in the sun, drink some rum, and have a good time.
Yeah, you know, I'm curious as to what these teams are going to run. Neither have played Junkertown yet in this stage, so you have to go all the way back to stage 1 to see what they were running here. I mean, look, the meta has developed on Junkertown that you're either running pirate ship or you're running Widow. Sometimes you're running pirate ship with a Widow and Hanzo as well. Double sniper, that's a kind of a sole specialty there. We've seen a lot of teams. A lot of Junkrat comes in here as well. We do have more substitutions that are coming in for London. Of course, Bedosian is coming back in, as did Fury, because consistency, not a thing that London wants to hang their hat on.
No, they are definitely searching right now. I still think that this is a confidence thing for London with how stage 2 panned out for them. They took a real blow, and it's going to take a little bit of time for them to get back into it. Getting blown up by New York here is definitely not helping things. And so it's back to the drawing board as far as London are concerned.
Well, for the moment, they are on the pirate ship composition, or at least part of it anyway. For those of you newer to the game who don't understand what this is, there's gold on the cart, so there will be pirates there as well. You set up a bastion on the cart, you put a couple sails and or shields up in front of it, generally an Orisa, sometimes even a Rhine as well. Get a Mercy there to resurrect bastion, and then you pretty much just turn that payload into a walking ship.
Into a booty-seeking...
Wait, what?
Private ship. Right?
Yeah,
isn't that
exactly.
What we're on?
Hey, man, I got your back. I got your back. You play way too much Sea of Thieves. Way too much.
What are you talking about? There's no such thing. The game is gorgeous.
It is pretty game. There's some pretty water in it. All right, so it does seem that defensively, at least, we're going to see the standard meta here. Junkrat, Orisa, Roadhog, and Widowmaker. Offensively, there is no pirate ship. There is no bastion. We have the standard meta for both teams. It is Junkertown, so I'm glad that Roadhog and Junkrat get played a lot on this map.
Nice fortify there, stopping Mecha from getting the hook. Doesn't save Jester's life regardless. Manages to deny getting hooked, still gets blown up by Libero. Hureg will take down Libero, so there's vengeance, but that notion yanked into his demise.
Jonag with another kill steal. We'll get the kill off of that hook off the volley. Maybe he just inflates his numbers. I don't think that's the case either, but they are making very good time.
That is not a great barrier for Jester. He's not happy about that one.
Generally, the defense wants to stick around this point, but the offense has taken the onus to him. Jester falls, Hureg falls. Prophet will find his opposing Junkrat. Playing on stairs is a bad idea, kids. Closer and Prophet learned that one the hard way.
So it's almost up there with running with scissors or letting a Genji hack it to bits. There we go, Saviovi. I mean, really, New York right now, this is perfect strategy from them. All out aggression. Don't let London breathe. Don't let them recover. You know that they're down. And, you know, unlike the saying, oh, don't kick a man when he's down. No. New York right now, they put their kicking boots on.
Yeah, you stomp on the throat when they're down. They're already down. You suffocate them and don't let them get back up. The last thing that New York wants to do is give London a glimmer of hope. They want to absolutely extinguish them. Look, New York's been at the top of the league for a while, but if there's any team that can dethrone them as being the best team in the Overwatch League, it has always been London who has had the best hope. Jonak just blind firing away. It's not spam, it's area denial. We'll find Closer on his way in.
Oh, there we go. You see the combo there, the Halton hook. Not going to connect, but you get the idea. And man, they are making so much progress so quickly here in New York. Libero under pressure. Prophet finding an angle. Prophet not for long. Sabiobi will hunt him down in the end.
2 kills so far for the entire map for the London Spitfire. It's been Libero dying twice yet again. Get it together, Libero, 2 deaths. They will walk right onto this second point with minimal defenders in the way. And so far, London, they simply look defeated.
They're getting steamrolled. They are getting steamrolled. And all of the booty is waiting right around the corner. I had to get it in there one more time.
Did you have to? Did you really have to?
It's kind of like a semi. It's like a pirate skiff right now. You know, it's just lacking the firepower. That's all. We don't have the cannons, the Gatling gun. We will, however, have a tire. Prophet finds Arc. There's a high-value target to be picking up immediately. Trance, however, in play from Jonak, so they won't get much more out of it. And now a tire of their own going out for New York Excel. Libero getting some good elevation out of it. Gonna just come plummeting in from above, looking for the widow, and he gets him. Ureg is gone.
Yeah, so far it has just been a non-stop offensive push here. The card slows down only for a moment because they forgot about it. Still pushing all the way to the end. London needs something to stabilize here. They do have both support ultimates, and if they want to take a fight, now is the time. This passive, more passive than the other team is not working, because at some point you got to go fight. Beautiful hook.
There's the combo. That's how it works. Halton to hook. Gesture dies. Fury follows. And they're going for more. Because why not? They are on the doorstep now. Gesture has rezzed up. There's the trance getting thrown in by Doshin. But Jonak finds Gesture before Doshin can get in there. That's unbelievably fast.
Ridiculous. And now Bedoshin is on Mr. Hawk's wild ride, wants to get off and will eventually punish Mako for pushing him out of position. That is yet another kill for London, but it continues to be New York all in the kill feed, walking this one in. Only have to get the last couple of kills here to finish out Junkertown.
Yeah, point blank, this is exactly where Libero wants you. He's going to be chucking concuss nades right in your face. Prophet has even gone over to May just to buy more time. Wall has not been used, or it has at the end. He will be able to get out of it, though, just barely hanging on. But not for long. Libero hunts him.
A tire comes in. They're closing out the doors, and that is New York walking all the way to the end. 4 total deaths on their march all the way through Junkertown. There's 6 total players. So London Spitfire, a paper-mache defense.
Just get, you know, they got it wet. They spilled water on it. That thing is just coming down. That volcano, it's not lasting long this time around for Spitfire. They get an F.
The worst science fair ever.
Gesture, though, I mean, right now, as far as the setup is concerned, we got 20 seconds left on it. And Doshin is on the Bastion, hoping that he stays on him. Let's get the pirate memes flowing.
It might as well run it. This is as close to the composition as you'll see when we do get to that screen. London, I don't know, look a little bit defeated. It's kind of hard to tell, but Ocean definitely looks a little lost right there, that something is not going right for London. And I think, you know, I think that their focus is probably on how do we fix this whole thing, not how do we win Junkertown. I think you kind of saw them lose focus a little bit there. Nothing went right for them. Kind of just backing up. No one wanted to fight. Gesture went in, decided, I guess I'll fight. I guess I'll die alone, because the Transcendence was late again to get there and heal them. So they look defeated. They have lost the series, of course, but I think they're looking ahead now. London's going to try. They're going to roll out here on this next map on their offense. And you know what? Why not just for kicks run some Pirate Ship? If they have a strategy that they haven't revealed yet, they're not going to reveal it now.
Listen, this is going to be brutal, because not only are they going Pirate Ship, they're breaking out the big guns. The Hanzo Widow combo, yes please, thank you very much. Yeah. Let's get into it.
Double Sniper is something that Soul has run on this map a lot of different times. A lot of teams have copied that strategy as well. You put one on the left, one on the right, you put him in a crossfire. Down the gut, you're going to send your Bastion with a shield in front of him, Mercy damage boosting him. It's a matter of getting set up, though. If you can get on the cart, can you ride it in? And yeah, we've got the pirate ship.
Perfectly done. Doshin now damage boosted. You will have no shields to hide behind, although neither will he, unfortunately. Instantly melting him. This is one of the points. Guys, if you're playing pirate ship on matchmaking, please take note. Melt the shields. This is the advantage of Bastion. You give them nowhere to hide.
Just crushing the shield. And speaking of nowhere to hide, that is a nice Sonic Arrow. Is going to find that Widow and scatter. You know what? Snipers sometimes have splash damage. Despite my opinions on it, it is very effective.
I like the Prophet hangs around here as well. In case Arc was going to try and get over there, get that res off. No, sir. Denied. Thank you very much. Doshin kind of chilling out over here in the corner.
Ureg picks up Libero, too. A double sniper really throwing New York off here. The stun comes out, and the hook does not connect as line of sight is broken with it.
That was a lucky break there for Prophet. Counting his lucky stars. We may have a flanking send here from Jonak. Yep. Tried to go for the volley. Didn't connect. But that's a beautiful shot there from Ureg. Save Yobi, not really having a great time.
Not at all. And maybe it's just, maybe it wasn't just the London defense. Maybe defense just not an option on Junkertown lately. And you know, it's hard to see holds on first. It happens on occasion. Second, even more rare. But oftentimes people will get to last at least, and then it's more difficult to finish the map. But the pirate ship is assailing right now. Some changes will come in for NYXL. Meko's going to go over to D.Va, maybe try to help out, deal with this pirate ship. One of the best ways to dismount a Bastion is to tire over the top, or maybe a pulse bomb if you can get there. But this is a great wrinkle that we saw happen about halfway through stage 1, that you get off of the cart. You don't just ride it all the way up the hill. You take this high ground away from the defense.
Really, because you can see the choke points that the defense have to make their way through. All of a sudden, if they're funneling in, you get that Bastion up there, things can get pretty fun. Now, however, New York have got a little bit of a pied-à-terre to work from. Mano working his way around, looking for the flank. He's got Jonak to back him up. They are on that high ground.
I think you just wait for an ultimate here. You try to get a tire to get onto that Bastion and deal with it, and then you engage off of that, hopefully.
They've still got people on this point. Gesture, he sees it. He feels like this is going to be the big engage, and so the bongos go down. They get eliminated rapidly, but a lot of damage taken immediately there by those tanks. Meko and Mono getting topped right back up again, however, by Jonak, but there's the Dragon going right through the payload. Not going to find any kills, but he does force New York Excel up against the wall, allowing London to do some work.
And Meko with a couple of good kills, but that is all they got out of that fight, and London will walk onto the second point just as well. Defense is nowhere to be seen. It's like the Pro Bowl out here.
Yeah, just get on that offensive play. That's what we all want to see anyway. High scoring games, lots of frags. 5 minutes on the clock here for London. And well, yes, a little bit of the highlight reel coming in here from Ureg, and that was a clean one on Arc, the follow-up. That's what it's all about.
You know, he's looked good, and I think maybe that's why London is putting him in some of these situations. One, definitely was for his far earlier, but you keep him in to see what he's got, see if he's going to be part of this main roster that they field on these teams. Fury with a huge self-destruct will end this fight before it starts. Despite the tire coming in, not going to matter. They'll just res up Doshin.
Yeah, Closer gets in there and rests him immediately. Where did that ult go off for Fury is what I want to know. That was brutal.
Must have got in over the top here. It can be such a confusing map because it is just this U-turn right around the corner here, so you never really know where the angles are coming from. Say Yobi will avenge himself against Ureg. Card continues to push though. New York's really got no way of stopping this. Maybe a self-destruct comes in at some point in time.
Could be the ticket, could be it. It's the closest ult that they'll have to work with, and it's just come up online here from Meko. Best Gesture going down again with the barrier here. Not ideal positioning, but it will buy him enough time to get around the corner and stay alive despite everything that New York are throwing at his face.
The self-destruct escorts him up the stairs of that explosion. That's one way to ride it up. Closer will fall though as Mano does find him. It seems like London has backed themselves into a corner. They will start to try to rotate their way out here. Gesture very low, Gesture down, as Meko's had enough of them hiding out in this hallway.
Yeah, Doshin and Prophet, that's going to be their go signal to get out. If they can, if they will, yes, Sabiobi escorts Prophet back to spawn. Libero takes care of Doshin. More time burnt off the clock, but there's still plenty of it here for London Spitfire to work with. 3.5 minutes.
Well, you got to be careful on these aggressive holds. Back caps are definitely a possibility here.
Yes, we have seen a few. That would be great if we could see another one today, though. But again, yeah, aggression.
I just love this spot where you see the Diva there right now. Often you'll put a Winston there too, just hanging out around the corner. And teams just don't really check it. You get a lot of free damage on their backside on the way in, and then you have the mobility to get out. You just saw that swoop and scoop by Meko there. Put a lot of early damage on, and then Sabiobi cleans it up. Bidoshin in there as well, and now he gets out alive too.
And Jonak just doesn't die. He still stays in the fight as well. 20 HP, doesn't care. He's looking for the volleys.
Jonak, 3 total deaths on this map. It is tied for lowest. Actually, Mano's only died twice, which is ridiculous for a Winston.
He's getting that proper support. Getting the orbs. Arc there to take care of him as well. Well, Tire is online here. That's going to be a profit, throwing it into the mix.
Well, they also
instantly splitting up though. Look at how New York reacts to that Tire.
They used Infrasight beforehand so that he could find the proper targets with that Tire too. You never really know where people are going to be, but that Tire. We are stalemating here. A nice self-destruct to get himself a new mech. Good zoning by his tank buddy to keep him alive.
Yes, and that is going to cost him. Fury not going to be able to get in his mech for a little while longer. He does manage to get it right back, and well, Prophet will find the Tire. Libero, both of these Tires not finding too much success. Closer though, dancing on the edge.
Teams have gotten so much better at killing Tires. It's like the biggest difference I've seen between stage 2 and 3 is that Tires are just not getting the value that they used to. Teams know the angles, they know where players like to put them now, and they've been easy to kill. Look, it's only 50 HP. You just gotta hit one big shot on it.
Hey, that's easier said than done.
I agree, but not for these pros.
But then the pros, exactly. Then the pros, well, you know, they make shooting Baby Diva as easy as well.
Oh!
Hey, there you go, buddy. There you go, Sabiobi. Popping off, perfect timing. See, he made it look easy, X.
Yeah, Sabiobi putting it down right now. He's gonna back up a little bit, take this sight line, and this is easy pickings for the Widow. It's a battle between him and Hureg right now, but that's a perfect mine position too. Also got ultimate ready. We're nearing only 1 minute left on the final map of the week here. See if London can muster an offense and close this one out.
They're looking to get in there once again. Gesture leads the charge. Fury is there to back him up. Mono dropping low, but hey, he's got his healer to top him up, and well, he goes primal as well, just batting Gesture into the corner. Gesture just patiently biding his time.
Gets back to his healers. That loving beam of mercy will keep him alive. Jonak's got to be a little bit careful, but Sabiobi's got his back. Hureg punished for even looking at Jonak.
Tracking is so good from Jonak. Just following Gesture with the volley. So sick. Prophet still looking, but not going to find anything with that Riptire. They're getting picked off again, one after another. Gesture will res up now. He's got the Primal Rage as well, so now it's about him getting him back into the fight ASAP. 20 seconds left on the clock here for London Spitfire. They have the 3 ults. Fury will certainly have self-destruct as well for the next fight.
And we should see a bunch of ultimates from both sides, support ultimates all over the place. London could come in with this right now, try to get your Valkyrie going. Gesture is in alone yet again. He's actually got Diva with him this time. A better dive than we've seen so far from London. Tire's gonna try to snuff this one out.
Yeah, Libero throwing it from well back.
He's got the infrasight too, he knows where this is.
Oh, he really wants to go for that mercy. There it is. Closer just barely survives. But Fury not able to make it onto the payload in time. Remember, it's not about frags, it's about pushing the payload home. And New York, a clean sweep. It's like, fair enough, you predict New York to win, okay. But for them to win 4-0 versus London Spitfire, that's a tough call to make.
I think that's a surprise to everyone. I'm comfortable calling that one a 3-0. Seemed like London a bit of a half-hearted effort there onto Junkertown, especially towards the end on their offense, but that's just fine. They're looking forward to it. Look, London, still some stuff to work out, but you know what? They're still the #2 team in the league by a pretty decent margin. No one's really nipping at their heels, but they gotta get it together. Otherwise, one of these other teams are gonna overtake them. New York sitting at the top of their skyscraper.
Yeah, top of the pile. The Kings, their reign continues. And that's right, Sabiobi. You done your job. Now let's go ahead and hand over to the desk. Hear what they have to say about this match.
Los Angeles, California, please put your hands together for the best team in Overwatch right now. The New York Excel defend their throne at the top of our leaderboard. Very impressive series, and not only do they walk away with the win, all the previous ones went to a Game 5. They took all 4 maps, didn't let London ever have a chance in the series.
This is a show of dominance from, as you said, the best team in the league, but London were their bogey team, and now I think they've really wiped that away. This is going to give them confidence going up against, potentially, if London make it to the stage finals, these kind of big-time games, they know how to beat them, it seems, at the moment. Or you could say London are beating themselves.
Yeah, well, to me, there's no team like New York Excelsior in the Overwatch League right now. Even looking at potential teams like Philadelphia, they don't really have the star power which New York Excelsior do. Maybe with EQO in the lineup, but as it stands, from watching Philly today and New York today, there really is no team contesting New York at the top.
Nobody else has the same stars in those support positions as well. I'm just blown away by how well Jonak and Arc play and how well the whole team rotates around the map. I said it before, it feels like layers, you know? If you get your basic teamwork down, that's great. Then individual skill can push you a little further up. But at the highest level, the level that New York and London are at, the coaching, the preparation, the teamwork and strategy is all sublime.
Yeah, and I mean, they sub in a lot of their substitutes, of course, because they're trying to play the strategy game. So we have a player like Hureg, of course. You wanted to play the Pharah, right? And you expect like an F14 to come in. Fucking Maverick. Oh. But of course, I'm expecting it's like a Golden Boy paper plane instead.
Yeah,
so
right.
Doesn't really turn up.
Paper planes didn't rain the biggest bombs in this series. We see New York walking away with the victory. Pine came out, Blizzard World. Pretty nice to see him here today. Libero, always a fantastic player. But you saw in those highlights, we had a really tough time at the desk here picking our player of the match. Was it SBB? Was it Jonak? Well, our player of the match sponsored by Omen by HP tonight. It's the support player, fully boosted by his Mercy throughout this series, and even when he wasn't, he's hitting the headshots.
He really is. Crazy player, Jonak. Comes straight out of support, out of the ranks, out of the ladder, and straight into the NYXL, and coming straight up with superstar performances the whole league. So consistent, and they build their team around him. You heard Zoe say it. London tried to slow down to play against them. But when there's so much damage coming into you, you have to play quicker, because if you play slow against NYXL, they're just going to damage you down or get picks on you. And London didn't have a clue what to do.
It's so hard to play against because you want to speed up, but you're getting pressured from the front line, and then you get pressured from Jonak. There's so many players on this New York team. It's so hard to work with.
Jonak's our player of the match tonight, but you got to give props to his counterpart, Arc, the other support player on this squad. Remember, if you have the All Access Pass on Twitch, you're able to watch the AMA with Arc after this series. And I want to know, who does he prefer damage boosting on the team? You got so many options. Who is the best one to go with? We got to wrap up the night, though, by reminding you guys where we're at with the standings right now. As you take a look at the leaderboard, it's only New York and the Los Angeles Valiant coming out unscathed with the perfect 8-0 record. Boston, though, did win both their matches and a big win today over Houston.
Yes, a great win for them, and they're looking like they want to push into the Stage 3 playoffs towards the end of it. They're looking like a great team that's stepping up at the moment.
Now, as we look at the biggest picture, remember, it's the top 6 at the end of all 40 matches for each team. Johnny, we've got a big margin here. Yeah. Look at that map count, plus 54, a 5-match lead over everyone else in the league after that win from New York.
Can anyone catch New York? Because I don't think so. I think they're solidified their spot at the #1. They can even lock up their playoff spot in Stage 3 if they'd like to, and then you have Stage 4 to just casually chill, if you'd like to.
And we got some major matches next week. Keep your eyes on the Thursday battle between the Philadelphia Fusion and the Houston Outlaws. Seoul's looking to bounce back stronger than ever in their match against the Gladiators, and New York is going to get a chance to defend their honor against a Houston Outlaws squad that was threatening back in Stage 1. Final thoughts on the nights, guys. For anyone that missed the games this week, what was the best match for you, Johnny?
Well, it has to be Philly-Boston, right? I think that was a really good game. And I'm not going to spoil it this time. So.
Philly-Boston, no spoilers. What about you, Josh?
That one was fantastic. Also, probably want to check out Seoul and against the San Francisco Shock. That was a fantastic performance. Got to see all of the new players from San Francisco Shock, and a great performance from both teams there.
It's been a fantastic start to Stage 3. Remember, if you missed any of the action, go to OverwatchLeague.com. For everyone that is watching the All Access Pass, stay tuned for the AMA with Arc from the New York XL. That's going to do it for us at the desk. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on Wednesday starting at 4 p.m. Pacific.